The meanwhile, we did do our Spring Forward this weekend, and as a result of that, some obligatory reminders therein from Michael McClear at Escape, who is always reminding us about fire safety when the opportunity strikes, and today is the day. Good morning, Michael.
Good morning, Richard.
Man, we are supposed to be in tune with our smoke detector and our carbon monoxide detectors and the batteries in them at this time of year. Some of us might get sidetracked with complaining about the time change.
That's right. That's right. But it's always a perfect time to make sure we're prepared for fire safety. And this is a good weekend. Change your clocks, change your batteries is the campaign when we spring forward and when we fall back in early November to make sure that families have working smoke alarms, that those smoke alarms are not older than 10 years old. If they are, they need to be replaced so that we've got new smoke alarms. And we've got a campaign out there that we've been running for quite some time to be able to help families stay safe. And every time you and I do an interview, it seems like somebody gives us a call. So what I've done is we're going to launch our new toll-free number that's dedicated just to the smoke alarm project, and it's 1-844-978-4400, and we'll talk about that through the show. But this is a dedicated line that rings right into me, and it actually allows us to schedule all throughout West Michigan and connect listeners with their local fire department or even the American Red Cross partnership. It's really exciting.
Yeah, and we're thrilled to hear those calls because as a fire safety expert, there are people out there listening who just don't have these alarms in their house.
That's right, and it's so important. Some families have told me we didn't realize we needed smoke alarms because no one in our home smokes, for example. But smoke alarms go so much further. They alert us if, for some reason, there's an electrical short, maybe a fire starts in an electrical outlet, maybe someone is leaving something on the stove. They carelessly get distracted. Maybe somebody calls on the telephone, comes to the front door, and it's very important we're thinking fire safety. So even though the smoke alarms will alert us when there's a fire, we still need to think about ways we can prevent fires in our home.
You know, it's kind of interesting that some people think more literally than others. So when you say smoke alarm, they think smoke like cigarette smoke and nothing else.
That's right. That's
wow.
right. Yes. And a lot of the fires, or a lot of the fire fatalities, I should say, that actually occur from smoke inhalation, not the fire itself. And when we're talking about fire safety with young children, it's important that we're modeling as adults fire safe behavior. Recently, I had a caregiver mention to me that she has her 5-year-old child go and get her cigarettes and her lighter. And that's not a safe choice because we're teaching children at a young age that they can control fire, that they can go and get fire tools, which are only for adults. So we need to make sure we secure those tools from young hands, make sure matches and lighters are always secure, out of reach of young hands. Young children are introduced to fire at an early age, Richard. Birthday candles on a birthday cake.
Oh, yeah.
So when they see fire and they think that they can control fire by blowing out the candles, the fire goes away. It gives young children a false sense of power that they can control fire when, in fact, they can't. And most of our young fire fatalities occur with children playing with matches and lighters, doing it in the bedroom, either underneath the bed or in the closet, with tragic results.
Wow. Boy, and sometimes as adults, we just don't put those things together. We're so used to knowing what our limitations are with fire that it might be easy to presume that a child understands that.
That's right. That's right. And we always talk about with our child care providers and with new parents, and even parents that have had children for quite some time, making sure we educate early and often about the dangers of fire, but also if young children see those tools such as matches or lighters, rather than scolding them, empowering young children, teaching them what they can do. Come tell a trusted adult. And that way we're not teaching through negative reinforcement. We're teaching through positive means, and young children are great messengers if they're taught the correct message. They actually can go back home and they can teach families how to be safe, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah, the ones that we're educating become the best educators.
Absolutely, and we talk about raising a fire-safe generation, which is really what it's all about.
So in a moment, we'll come back to our original motivation, which was to talk about why we need to change the batteries in the alarms in our homes around this time of year, and what that means with the time change. And you might have heard Michael say smoke detectors and carbon monoxide alarms have a 10-year lifespan. What's the deal with that? We'll discuss that coming up in just a few minutes. Mike McClear's back with us from Escape, the fire safety organization, and yesterday was one of those days where when the time changes, we're also reminded we should change the batteries in our smoke alarms and carbon monoxide detectors. What is about that, Mike? I mean, we just want to make sure the batteries are fresh. Is that the motivation?
Well, we want to make sure the batteries are fresh. So on those non-long life battery smoke alarms, we should be changing them when we change the clocks. And now there's technology out there, Richard, where batteries can be installed in the smoke alarm, purchased right from the local consumer store, and the battery's actually sealed right in the unit. One of the problems that we're having in the fire service is people that disable smoke alarms. And if the smoke alarm doesn't have a battery or a power source, it's not going to operate. It's not going to alert occupants to be able to get out and stay out quickly and safely. So with new style alarms, just like anything else, new technology, I mean, we've seen this with flat screen TVs replacing the old cathode ray tube televisions, things like that. With new technology leads to new evolutions, and sensing equipment or sensors rather in the smoke alarms are much better today than they were in 1972 when smoke alarms first were introduced, and they're much smaller. So they fit in with just about anybody's home decor. The thing that we still need to remind homeowners and occupants is make sure that they don't put a smoke alarm in the kitchen. We talk about the kitchen is the number one area for most preventable home fires, but putting it in the kitchen, we're going to have those nuisance alarms. A lot of the new alarms now have hush buttons, so if someone were cooking or taking a shower and the hallway smoke alarm were to activate, we no longer have to take the battery out. We simply can push the hush button. That will silence the alarm until the sensing unit clears, but it's ready to go should it sense smoke or it sense any other dangers out there. So new technology brings exciting opportunities. The newer alarms just much more reliable and less chance of faulting. And that's really why we encourage people every 10 years replace those smoke alarms so they're at peak performance. Just because we push the test button, that tests the horn, it doesn't make us comfortable that always that sensing unit is going to be at peak performance.
Interesting. One of my carbon monoxide detectors went off a few months ago, and of course it was on a weekend, and it was about 6 in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
And it's always that way, isn't it? I rolled over and I thought, what is that beeping I'm hearing? And my smoke detectors were hardwired, so I didn't figure that was it. And then I went investigating and realized it had reached I think it was 8 years. That's how long ago I bought it. It had reached that point. So it just goes off and says,
yes, it does.
Hey, I'm dead now. Replace me. And that was really interesting because I'd forgotten that was the case. I bet a lot of people do.
Yeah, exactly. So there's some built-in safeguards. Even some of the newer technology, they're kind of designed so they don't go off in the middle of the night when they've reached their life expectancy, or that annoying low battery chirp sometimes always happens in the middle of the night. Some of the new technology, some of the worry-free technology that manufacturers are promoting eliminate that. So with new products brings a new level of safety to the home. When we talk about changing the batteries in the smoke and carbon monoxide, also we shouldn't forget about changing those batteries in our flashlights, and also, Richard, changing the batteries in the severe weather radios, because a lot of times when families and homes lose power, they resort to flame or candles, and that's not a safe choice. We should be going with the battery-operated lighting so that no one accidentally knocks the candle over, or we don't put our family at risk for fire.
So when these ones that have the hush button on them, does that doesn't disable it, does it? You push the hush button and it just quiets it, but it's still activated, right?
That's correct. That's correct. Yep, it's still sensing. It's still available in case it senses smoke particulates, and will alert again in an alarm mode should it sense something. But the hush button will keep that nuisance alarm silent for upwards of about 10 minutes.
Okay. Do you ever meet people who say, no, I can't take the batteries out of there. They're not dead yet?
I have.
Yeah.
I have. We did a survey a few summers ago at some community events, and that was the number one question in one area in West Michigan that families were misinformed is they thought that they changed the batteries in the smoke alarm only when the low battery chirp went off. What we recommend, even though the batteries may still be good, those batteries can be put in non-life critical appliances or even television remote controls. So you don't necessarily need to throw that old battery away. Just put it in something else that's not dependent, like a smoke alarm, on a life safety activation, and we save money all the way through.
That's a good thought. And, you know, the TV remote, it doesn't use a lot of battery power. It seems like it's years before you change those.
That's right. That's right. So that way you keep everything fresh, and we're good to go.
All right. So now this always happens when we talk. We remind people that there are options out there if you don't have smoke alarms in your home and you can't afford them to get them for free. And you always hear from folks.
We do. We do. I just released a quantity of 500 smoke alarms to the city of Battle Creek. Fire Marshal Jones just picked those up, so he's got his supply of smoke alarms for the city. We've got other partnering fire departments, but people can contact us either toll-free, 1-844-978-4400, or they can even email us at info, I-N-F-O, at Escape Inc. That's ESCAPEINC.org. It's that simple.
Wow, and it really is probably surprising to some folks that these possibilities exist, and they thought they just had to buy one.
Exactly. And just to recap, Richard, Michigan leads the country in home fire deaths, and we're still leading the country, unfortunately, in home fire deaths of all 50 states. So we really need to make sure we get the word out. If someone listening knows of a family member or a neighbor that needs a smoke alarm, give us a call. We'll make sure that we get them taken care of.
All right. Say the number one more time.
Sure. 1-844-978-4400.
All right. Michael McClear with Escape. EscapeINC.org is the website if you want to see more information about that. Thank you, Michael. We always appreciate it.
Thank you, Richard.